Hello everyone, welcome back to the next episode of The Tiger King. This is going to be covering episode 3. Danielle and I will be reviewing episode 3 of The Tiger King, a Netflix original series. Unfortunately, my camera is dead, and it's already 10 at night, and I don't want to stay up very late. I know, not very much dedication to my craft. So this episode is mainly going to be taking place just on my computer with my webcam and with my computer audio. Next video will be a hybrid of the sorts, just like the last one was, up until about the very end, because we're kind of filming this all on the same night, even though we changed clothes to give you the illusion that it's a different night. Say hello to the beautiful viewers of this broadcast.
Hi.
If you guys are wondering what those glasses were, it's blue light filters. I'm not a trendy hipster, although kind of I wanted to try out the round frames just because I wanted to see how cute I looked in them. Comment down below, how cute am I in round frames? So this was episode 3, The Secret, dealing with Carol and her murdered or disappeared husband, ? First off, Toonsis will not stop farting. He is sleeping right underneath my feet right now, and he's...
Bring him up!
No, he's sleeping. I can't wake him up. Let me see, are his eyes open? Oh, his eyes are open. Don't give me that. Your eyes are open. You're not asleep.
Hello! Hi, Toons! He's the best tiger of them all.
Oh, yes. He's more of a liger because he's kind of a genetic deformity. First off, elephant in the room, did Carol kill her husband? What do you think?
Unconfirmed. I don't know.
You don't know?
I really don't know. Netflix makes a really good argument, but if you read Carol's rebuttal and watch her husband's video, they also make a really great rebuttal. I did not know about Carol before watching this. I knew about Big Cat Rescue, which is what I cared about. I don't know.
At the end of the day, that is what you should be caring about. It's almost like separating the art from the artist. If you have an artist you really like listening to, and then suddenly you realize a lot of their viewpoints are, or a lot of, an artist you really like seeing their paintings of, or whatever, and you realize a lot of their viewpoints are against yours, separate the art from the artist. It doesn't matter. Or if they turn out to be an awful human being, but they really made some good art in their time. It's like, okay, no, I can still enjoy that art without praising that human being. So regardless of whether she killed those people, her husband, or not, it's important to take into consideration the good that she has done and the good that her organization is still doing, regardless of who she is. Separate her from Big Cat Rescue for this time being. In my opinion, I think he ran away. I think he ran away.
That's what Alicia, one of my friends, was really considering too, was that he left. And, even the guy that said, if I can pull this thing off, that was his quote. So, number one, his family talking, so the first time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, she killed her husband. That was literally my thought. And, I was watching it, and I was as shell-shocked as everyone else. The second time around watching it, after reading her rebuttal and everything else, this is a woman that did destroy a marriage. So she's not the greatest of humans, in that case. Also, what the hell was she doing on a street in, wherever she was in Florida at that time of night? Sure, you can say you were fighting with your husband, but the rest of the world thinks you were hooking. Also, to the point where he turned around several times and then finally said she could put the gun on his head.
Which,
do you know what I mean?
Pump the brakes for a second. The documentary, I'm a very big, everything has to make sense and everything has to be kind of period correct. So the gun that they had on the seat is a High Point 9mm. High Point wasn't even a company until 1992. So there's no way that firearm was the one he had on his seat. That is such a big pet peeve of mine, and it doesn't even matter, but it frustrated me so much. This was early 80s that these two people met. Yes, continue.
That's a nice point.
On my rant, that means nothing.
I will say, so his family popping up and saying they got nothing Well, usually a divorced family doesn't get much after a marriage is over and when they die, honestly, to be real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was, after the second time of watching it, it's like, well, you wouldn't have gotten much, would you have? Because it was the end of the marriage long before his death. So, it's interesting. Also, there's a lot, like, I would just refer people to Carol's rebuttal, because there's a lot of stuff that goes unsaid for her part. Her and her husband, I felt bad because her husband is older, as you see in this documentary, and he breaks a couple times when he's doing a video about this and how much this has hurt them because they felt tricked by Netflix, and they didn't realize it was going to be as salacious as it was. It felt like a lot of gossip, they felt, more so than like actually getting the news out about the cats, which has really upset them. So I just like turn it to that. Although honestly, like I don't know who she is. Like I have no idea if she killed her husband or not. And Netflix makes a hard argument, like, you know, that they definitely did, but like also she makes a hard argument that they didn't. And also, like, his family says she was the number one suspect. Well, actually, when you look at the actual, like, documents of his case, she was not. So there's a lot that's said in the Netflix doc that isn't exactly true, which honestly has me, as someone who's a true crime documentary, like, fanatic, kind of wondering what stuff I've taken for, like, oh, that's 100% true, to be like, maybe it's not, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of scary to think, like, a lot of things maybe are kind of up in the air, but I guess such is life.
Yeah, no, I kind of got that feeling while I was watching it, is that it wasn't necessarily very truthful. I find with a lot of these kind of documentaries, it's why I don't like watching a lot of true crime, is that there's usually, like, when they want you to feel a certain thing or they want you to believe a certain narrative, that a music cue will play, or, like, you know, the screen will go negative colors or black and white or something like that. And I'm like, well, now you're just trying to make good TV, and you're not trying to actually tell me what's happening. And that's kind of what I got from this episode. His one statement of, if I can get away with this will be the slickest move in history. I'm like, bruh, you were going to run away. You got another honey down in Costa Rica, and you're running away. And to piggyback off of that, his attorney and several other people say the type of planes that he owned and the type of flight experience he had couldn't have got him down to Costa Rica on one tank of fuel. I would like to rebuttal with, this was pre 9/11, so the airways were not as well understood and as well policed as they are currently.
100%.
Before 9/11, like she says in the documentary, and he had a history of doing this, you could fly underneath the radar. We didn't have stuff that went, I think it was like 500 feet and lower, so you could fly that low and not be detected. On top of that, you could go all over the Gulf Coast, and there are several airports back then that were well known to just let people on and not actually document their stuff. This is how drugs got to America a lot. You watch that movie, what is it, with Tom Cruise, American Made? Well, these guys were real drug dealers that actually just circumvented U.S. law and restriction and just got into our country with a bunch of paraphernalia and a bunch of drugs. This guy could have just left. And that's kind of what I got the feeling from, because this guy that he was friends with, really close friends with, and working really hard with, he was just like, man, if I can get away with this, didn't even specify what it was, if I can get away with this, it'll be the slickest move in history. And then left. To continue from that, to kind of stray away from his disappearance in its entirety, Joe Exotic had me belly laughing through this whole episode. Like, seriously.
He's a great commentary. Honestly, the man is good for TV. He's very amazing for television.
Flawless for TV. Like,
he could have been, like, at the first time we watched this, we were talking about how he could have been something so much more than what he made himself.
Honestly, this may be sacrilegious, and internet comment section, just remember, if Bindi was not already married to Chandler, I would be married to that. He honestly could have been almost a Steve Irwin figure, to where he was so emboldened and so impassioned and so just out to left field that people would have watched him every week. Because I remember Mom telling me her first experience with Steve Irwin was him getting like thrashed by a crocodile, and her and our father were just belly laughing the entire time. And they couldn't get enough of this guy because he was so wild. That could have been Joe Exotic.
Amazed that person would get that close to that kind of wildlife and everything.
Yeah. And it's like this guy could have brought, millions of people more into an idea and more into a headspace of, I want to preserve and conserve these animals, as opposed to what appears to be kind of a more money-grubbing way of doing things. But he, like, annoying oranges her late husband's photo and puts his eyes in his mouth.
I'm in your septic tank.
That ruined me. I couldn't keep it. Like, I was like trying so hard to like stay like non-biased, but like, oh my word, Joe just had me rolling for that episode, man. Joe was a high point.
Well, I mean, that episode was pretty like lull. You know what I mean? Compared to the last two we watched, and compared to the rest of it as well. This is like the lullest of them all.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot to like dredge up. They go through a lot of documents and everything. Honestly, like, I don't know. I mean, this is just me being biased, but I feel like the season could have done without it and just a touch upon her missing husband.
Yeah.
But I guess then you wouldn't like have the full in-depth look. But I'm very torn on it because I am biased to Big Cat Rescue. So personally, I don't think she is guilty of this, but I also don't know if that's just my own bias to the fact that I've loved Big Cat Rescue for so many years.
Joe and Doc both, which, by the way, can we just say it in unison? Screw Doc. Like, I hate that man so much.
I hate him too.
He had me laughing a few times over the ridiculous stuff he was saying. Both Doc and Joe continually bring up the fact that she used to buy privately from wildlife auctions, which is a thing, which I didn't know it was a thing on this scale at any point. I kind of figured it was, but I didn't know it was on this scale at any point. In the reptile community, it still is a thing, where auctions are still a thing. I've never seen a large animal or a dangerous animal auctioned off in it. It's always been like ball pythons and like corn snakes and king snakes.
What's interesting to me about this, I would be interested to look into that because it only shows at that point that she was getting bobcats.
Yeah, bobcats and lynx. Those were the only two things that she was buying.
Which are local.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's all she could buy from that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, like, in the footage that they show from the time that she was there, they had, like, secretary birds and, like, different types of weird, like, Amazonian birds. And then it talks about how they were buying them and so that they wouldn't go to, like, fur farms. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, that's kind of forgive me, Lord, for what I'm about to say. That's kind of a rescue on its own. Because those animals aren't going to fur anymore, which...
They're going to die.
Yeah, they're going to die. You're providing a life for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand. Joe and Doc both kept bringing up these points of, well, she used to buy them, well, she used to breed them, and she used to sell them to the public and all the rest of it. And it's like, yeah, she used to, but you realize that, like, the majority of zoos that are very highly respected and well-respected started in some crazy person's backyard that was, like, doing this for profit. And then suddenly, once it gained traction, they started to realize the error of their ways, as it seems Carol has done. They saw the error of their ways, and they were like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this for profit anymore. Maybe we should be doing this for the animal now. Which, like, going back to the whole Steve Irwin thing, it's kind of how the Australia Zoo was started. It was started for profit in the backyard of Bob Irwin. Which I have nothing wrong with that. You started a business. There's nothing wrong with that. What's inherently wrong is once you come into your own mind and you realize what I am doing is wrong because I am piggybacking off of exploiting these animals for profit against their better care. I could be caring for them better if I wasn't doing this kind of thing. Once you come into that realization, that's when it becomes wrong because you realize, okay, these animals are actually creatures. I need to protect these animals. These are other living beings. I need to protect the animals. But Joe and Doc both know that. They have both come into that realization many years ago, from what it seems like in this documentary, but they've ignored that. And they've chose to continue to go with profit.
To ignore that the animals that they have are living and breathing, and, they're not just like a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that's the most frustrating is these animals aren't a paycheck. They're alive, and you're responsible for their life and death, and that's,
Mm-hmm.
I think they really abuse that, and I think they're aware they really abuse it. So it's quite shocking as it goes on, and what really, really bothers me about it is I feel like this documentary didn't really, while it did bring light to the stuff that's going on, it also didn't really make it seem like it was bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people still don't realize that what's going on is so bad, and like it is, to me, it is like it's worse than a blackfish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least in SeaWorld, it was such a big name where you could control that kind of nonsense that was going on. I still won't visit that park. I won't pay for a ticket for it. I think it's awful, but like, you don't know, like, this is happening in people's backyards, and that's such an uncontrolled facility,
Mm-hmm.
For that kind of stuff to happen in. And that's so wrong, because these animals are, to me, an animal that big is, if not bigger and wiser than me. Like, I'm nothing. You know what I mean? Like it just boggles my mind that this is something that people think they have control over, and that they can take care of, and they don't even take care of it. They abuse it, and they just like exploit it, and it's really shocking. It's unfortunate to me that this documentary hasn't gained, I feel like it's gaining traction. I just wish it gained traction in the right ways, instead of just like Joe versus Carol, and Carol that bitch, and Joe, free Joe Exotic, like no, when you get to the end of it, I still don't understand that hashtag, because the man, you saw at the beginning in episode 1, the man is a part of a murder for hire thing. He shouldn't be free.
Yeah.
Like, when you try to kill someone, you literally shouldn't be free. And I think, like, when you own, like, over 200 tigers and you don't know how to care for them, I also think you probably shouldn't be free. And it's kind of hilarious to me that he's in a cage now, the same as all his tigers have been.
Too small for his natural instincts.
Yeah, sometimes it sucks to suck, Joe.
Yeah. Joe, to me right now, like, first episode, there's a murder, like a whole murder for hire thing that's hinted at, and all the rest of it. I don't know anything about it. Right now, all it seems to be is that he just doesn't know how to take care of his animals, but he makes good TV, and he clearly is passionate about something. The way he presents himself, and the way he just kind of seems even off the cuff, is very eccentric, but it's also very passionate. He seems very passionate, which is why I'm very upset that he's turned out the way he has, because he's very much so, I think he really does care for animals, and I think he really does care for people, because you get a little glimpse of that in the second episode and in a little bit of this episode where he's taking people up off the street and stuff like that. However, it seems like it's overshadowed by manipulation and by profit. There's some part of his heart that is still out there for lost people and lost animals, technically. And it sucks so bad that he wasn't able to channel those two passions and those two loves and those two things that his heart is really out there for in a constructive way. The last thing I want to bring up is the fact that I thought Joe Exotic somehow got Carol in his music video, Here Kitty Kitty. That lookalike, Joe, you have
He was on point.
all of the praise in the world for me as far as getting a woman who looks identical to Carol. I thought it was... my jaw was on the floor because I was like, this is recent because of how he looks. And then, oh my gosh, the dude comes out wearing a overhanging fedora and a priest's uniform. I lost my mind.
I can't wait to see a further episode if you think that costume's crazy.
He's dressed up a few times, and every single time it gets me. Every single time Joe comes out.
There will be a time where it might break you. You don't even know yet.
That's all. Do you want to say anything else to the
That's it. That's all I got for now.
Right on. I'll film my outro on my actual camera. So
Hello everyone, thank you very much so for watching today's episode of The Tiger King, the Netflix original series, and my sister and I's reaction to said king of said felines. So thank you very much for watching. If you get tired, please pull over, give me a call, and then have a nap. Make sure you always got that thing on you, and as always, take the stairs. Have a good night. See you later.